Welcome to Detective Comic Talks, the podcast about DC Comics by DC Comics fans. Welcome back to Detective Comic Talks, the podcast about DC Comics by DC Comics fans. If you're new around here, please remember to subscribe to the channel, and if you're listening to us on YouTube, please remember to subscribe and like this video to keep up to date with all the content coming from the channel. This week, guys, we're going to discuss all the latest goings on inside the DC universe, including Wonder Woman 1984 getting a brand new release date. DC have just confirmed DC Fanwire is coming this August, and of course all the latest goings on inside the DCEU. But of course, guys, I can't do this myself, so please welcome back, you know his voice, and DC's Daily Buzz, it's Jake.
Hey everyone, doing great, what about you?
Yeah man, I'm doing really well. I was just saying to Jake before this show started, guys, when I first started this show I thought, we're in the middle of a pandemic, there wouldn't be a lot of stuff going on inside DC, but there is constant news filtering out, like constantly, from the DC universe. Before we start today's show, we just want to mention this past week DC lost one of its greats. Dennis O'Neill, or otherwise known as Denny O'Neill, sadly was taken from this earth at age 81. His family have confirmed it's from natural causes and it's not related to the current pandemic that we're currently living in. Dennis worked for DC for over 12 years, working on many titles, but most famously, Dennis worked as a writer and editor on the main Batman title. And his time working the Batman title alongside editor Julia Schwartz and artist Neil Adams, Denny created many famous characters, including Ra's al Ghul, his daughter Talia, Azrael, Dr. Leslie Tompkins, and many more. Dennis also oversaw one of the most famous story arcs in DC history, Death in the Family, where the Joker brutally murdered Jason Todd. Also at DC, Dennis wrote for many other characters, including the Justice League, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, and also wrote the famous Muhammad Ali vs Superman one-shot comic. So our thoughts go out to Dennis's family and all his friends. It's a very tragic loss, but be remembered fondly by many of us going forward. And may rest in peace.
His work will always be there. May his soul rest in peace. He's brought a lot of wonderful characters.
This week it's been confirmed that Wonder Woman 1984 has had another reschedule, and it has been moved this time to the 1st of October 2020. Of course, this movie has had numerous rescheduling. It was supposed to come out last November. The film had to do some reshoots, plus the opportunity to move back to the summer, where their first movie came out and had fantastic success getting back up. They moved it to the summer. The current pandemic hit, unfortunately. The movies had to move to August, and then again it's had to move until October. So it's just another setback. Unfortunately, the studio can't do anything about it. You know, it's just the way the world at the moment. My worry is, as theatres are slowly starting to open again, we understand that a movie like Wonder Woman to be successful, they need 80% of theatres to be open. And at the moment, you know, that's not looking likely. We also have stories coming from China that even when the movie market does back up again, 40% of theatres won't be there when China opens back up again. It's a really, really terrifying time for moviegoers, but we obviously really want to see this movie as soon as possible.
I mean, let's just hope it doesn't get delayed again. I understand what the studio is going with. I mean, who can blame them? The pandemic has done its own things. But I gotta say, October was I think maybe September could have been better. But I trust in the studio. I trust in their decisions. I believe in the movie. I believe it can do great. So let's just hope again that it won't get pushed another time. It was set to premiere last year, 2019. Then it was pushed again to June 2020, then to August 2020, and here we are on October 2nd, 2020. So I hope it doesn't get, pushed another time. I feel like the audience, the fans have been waiting enough right now. I think this is finally the time where we're supposed to get what we've been waiting for.
A lot of this comes down to Warner Bros. Have another major movie release coming out called Tenet. It's a Christopher Nolan directed movie starring Robert Pattinson, our Batman. That movie was due to come out in mid-July. Warner Bros. And Christopher Nolan really wanted to make that date. Unfortunately, they've had to push it a couple of weeks to the end of July. That movie, Tenet, is a major movie. It's over 200 million invested in it. Warner Brothers don't want to have two of their big movies very close together, especially in the current pandemic, when the just capacity's in theatres. The last thing they want to do is have two blockbusters coming out at the exact same time. So it makes sense to push Wonder Woman. But Tenet to open late July, I don't know. I don't see that really happening, to be honest with you, especially in the US. A lot of cases are spiking all over the US. It's not, as much as a lot of countries are starting to come out of the pandemic, with social distancing measures in place at the moment, theatres, we understand, will be down to a reduced capacity at 25%. I just can't see it being viable for theatres to open anytime soon. So I'm really, really hopeful that we will get to see Wonder Woman 1984, but I'm not 100% convinced it's going to happen. Fingers crossed on that, guys, because we really can't wait to see Gal's Wonder Woman again. We can't wait to see what DC, what Patty Jenkins, what the studio were planning. It looks completely different from what we got in the first film. It looks a lot more brighter. It looks really great. The marketing campaign for this movie hasn't really began, so we haven't seen a lot of the movie, whereas there's a few movies that were supposed to come out at the start of this year.
I think they should start marketing next month at most. I mean, we had our first trailer 6 months ago, and since then we haven't had any official thing. There has been, magazines releasing posters, but there hasn't, the studio hasn't been releasing any official posters. I feel like we also should get like a second trailer. I feel also it's way too early for a final trailer at the moment. They can give us the second trailer maybe on August.
Yeah.
They can give us the second trailer and maybe give us a final trailer sometime on September. I feel like they should really start marketing for the project in order for them to, grab and gain attention.
Yeah, I definitely think we will get that second trailer in late August. But I think one of the great things about this movie is they didn't show too much too early.
Yeah.
If they had shown, if they thought the movie was opening in June and they showed... Because I'm going to give you an example, Jake. There's a movie called Mulan that's coming out from Disney and another movie, Black Widow, from Marvel. Both of those movies have had 3 trailers each and completely done their full marketing campaign. But both movies won't be released. Well, in Black Widow's case, that won't be released till November, but it's already done its complete marketing campaign. That movie is now going to come out in November with, all the marketing done already. The good thing about Wonder Woman 1984 is we haven't seen a lot of this movie. Yeah. So it means that when they decide, okay, we're going to go with the October date, they can start pushing it.
I've seen the Black Widow trailers. I've seen the Mulan trailer. They didn't really reveal a lot about the plot.
The good thing about this Wonder Woman movie is we know the cheetah's going to be involved in it.
We know Maxwell Lord is the main villain. Yeah. I don't want them to spoil how Steve got resurrected or came back to life.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I hope they don't spoil this. I hope they don't really spoil the ending action sequences. I feel like this should be the element of surprise must be there while watching the movie. Because while watching Aquaman, half of the movie got spoiled on the internet back in 2018. I think there was like this 5-minute extended trailer. There was the final trailer. There was like the first trailer. There was a lot of TV spots. And listen, Aquaman had an amazing marketing. They promoted right for their movie. But my point is that half of the movie got spoiled. So I hope they don't do the same thing with Wonder Woman 1984. I hope the element of surprise kicks in while watching the movie. I hope that they give us what we want, but also in a smart way. Or at the end of the day, we're forced to watch the movie so that we can know what the ending is all about.
Doing what we do, having a DC podcast, having DC Instagram pages, it's kind of hard for us not to see the spoilers. Like, it's difficult. I know if you really want to know what this movie is going to be about, there is places, there is websites that are telling you plot points, point per point, that you can find out about this movie if you really wanted to. But why would you want to do that? Why would you want to spoil the movie? The great thing about this movie is because Patty Jenkins, Jeff Johns wrote the script for this movie. It's something completely different. Well, the big question is, do you want to see Cheetah before we see her in theatres?
I want to see the Cheetah, but also I don't want to see her, I mean, I would love them to tease us in a way where we lose our minds. Like, damn, that's what I'm talking about. At the same time, I don't want them to leak a big part about her origin story. We all know what the origin story from the comics, but we have no idea how are they going to portray her in the upcoming sequel. So I hope she's revealed, but also in a small part. At the ending of the second or at the ending of the final trailer. Also, I don't want them to, like, put a big part of her origin story in the trailer, like just brief mentions, and we're good. But I still want to see her final form. I want to see how she becomes, how Barbara becomes the cheetah.
Something to look forward to. Hopefully we see the movie this year, maybe have to see the movie next year. I really hope that does not happen. But fingers crossed it meets the October date. It's long enough away, I think they've got a really good chance of it, and I'm really looking forward to see the next instalment of what DC have to offer. Moving on, Jake. This week it's been confirmed that DC Daily, which is a show on the DC Universe streaming app, has had its final show. This was a daily show that was on the DC Universe app, and they released a statement this week confirming that the show had been cancelled. The statement reads as follows. After more than 400 episodes, DC Daily will air its final broadcast on Friday, July 3rd. This year has brought more challenges than the show can overcome. We thank all the fans and talent and hosts for bringing this show to life. It's been a fun ride. So, Jake, we've discussed endlessly on this show over on DC Daily Buzz the future of the DC Universe streaming app. We both have different opinions on what's going to happen to the app. This, I believe, is a big one. I think this show, it didn't cost anything to run this show, and they've cancelled it. Every show on the app is already available either on HBO Max or on cable television or on Netflix. There's no more exclusive content on DC Universe. This was the last show they had that was exclusive, even though it was only a daily show, on the DC Comics and DC Universe. That was the last show they had. So now that show's gone. What do you think that shows us? Do you think, has your opinion changed on what you think is going to happen to DC Universe, or is it still the same?
I think we're still good at the moment. Currently, we're still good. But also, maybe at some point, the streaming platform is going to start lacking subscribers even more. There isn't any exclusive thing anymore. With Stargirl being on both the CW and the DC Universe, with Doom Patrol being on HBO Max and also on the DC Universe, with Harley Quinn being on Sci-Fi and also being on the DC Universe, the smartest thing for any subscriber to do is basically unsubscribe, especially if they don't really read comics. One of the main reasons I really stick with the app is the fact that I read the digital comics. But if you don't, or you just don't feel like reading, I think the smartest option would be unsubscribing, especially if you live in the US. There isn't any exclusive thing anymore. Now, it's not like DC Daily was the thing that people are really looking for. I'm not saying they didn't have their own fandom, but that doesn't mean that, cancelling the show is going to affect how everything's going to go.
Everybody knows my opinions on it. I love the idea of the DC Universe streaming app, but I definitely can see now HBO Max is launched. We've seen a lot of the other HBO content and Warner content all merging. I think this time next year, the DC Universe app will merge with HBO Max. And it's just the way it is, unfortunately. I think with the streaming service battle that's currently ongoing. Moving on, Jake, to the big one. San Diego Comic-Con was cancelled, but then, of course, we had the announcement that they were going to go viral, and it was going to be an online Comic-Con. So we were still going to get San Diego Comic-Con, except it was going to be viral. Since then, a number of studios have announced that they're going to do an in-house broadcast, but we were not sure what Warner Bros. Were going to do. Last year at Comic-Con, DC did not have a panel. DC didn't go to Comic-Con. They were a presence on the floor, but they weren't in Hall H.
Yeah, I remember how pissed off I was last year.
It was really disappointing for everybody, especially for someone like myself and us in this podcast, because we wanted to know what DC were planning for the future. We want to ask DC these. We want to ask the people at Warner Bros. At DC, what is the plan for the DC Universe going forward? If you listen to our last few podcasts, I consistently say they're going to have to show their hand eventually. They're going to eventually have to tell us what is the plan for the future. On August 22nd at 10 a.m, Warner Bros. Announced they will launch DC Fandom, a free online 24-hour global event where content from across the DC Universe, including TV, games, movies, comics, will all come together live in one format. It's been confirmed that at this event we're going to hear from James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, Matt Reeves' The Batman. We're going to continue to hear stuff from Wonder Woman 1984. Of course, there's going to be a presence from Batwoman, Black Adam, Black Lightning, DC Superhero Girls, DC Legends of Tomorrow, DC Supergirl, Doom Patrol, The Flash, Harley Quinn, and of course, Zack Snyder's Justice League. What is your initial thoughts when you heard this? Warner Bros. finally going to give us their very own Comic-Con, they're going to give us a chance to ask them the questions that we want answered.
I think it's cool. I think they finally did it. You know, we've been demanding this for years now, and they finally did it. Besides, there's a lot of announcements. You know, a lot of stuff they can do. I hope they don't really waste the potential they can do with this. You know, with this event, like small mini virtual event, and the fact that it's also international is going to be big. You know, it's not an exclusively to the U.S. only yet, but people from outside can also reach out. That's why I'm also insanely hyped about it. I'm also excited for them to be talking about the upcoming movies, you know, like Black Adam, Wonder Woman 1984. They'll be talking about the Suicide Squad. They'll be talking about Matt Reeves' Batman. They can also discuss the sequels, you know, the Aquaman and the Shazam sequel. They can be talking about the Flashpoint movie. They'll be also talking about the shows. I want to know if Stargirl is going to get renewed for a second season. I want to know if Titans is going to get renewed for a fourth season. What happened? You know, I feel like also they can finally announce the official casting for the third season, and when are they going to begin production and filming. They can also announce what's going to happen to Doom Patrol's third season, what's going to happen to the DC universe. Also, they can review. Maybe they can give us a hint about Henry Cavill's comeback as Superman. You may never know. So, what my point here is that just don't waste the potential that you're given.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this. I mean, the potential here's through the roof, and I don't think Warner's will make a mess of this. I can see major announcements. I can see from Wonder Woman 1984 getting a second trailer. I can see Henry Cavill being confirmed his return to Superman. I can see a trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League finally getting shown. I can see a first look at James Gunn's Suicide Squad finally coming as well. There's so much potential here, and there's so much we can get to see. When you step back, Jake, in the cold light of day, what is the main thing? What would be the thing that you want to see? When this comes up and the day comes, and we're going to cover it on this show, in DC Daily Buzz, on both our Instagram channels, what is the one thing that you want to see happen?
Definitely the Wonder Woman 1984 second or final trailer, definitely. And also, I want them to reveal, like more news about Titans.
Yeah.
They were supposed to start shooting on March, but they had to shut down due to the pandemic. I really want to hear out what they're going to do, what are their plans when it comes to Titans.
If I was to give you a dream scenario, I would wish that they would announce Justice League 2 with Patty Jenkins directing. That would be a dream. Of course, that's not going to happen, but that would be like, if somebody was to offer me a wish that I could get, that would be the dream. I can't see that happening, of course, but if that was the one thing. But what's interesting as well is they're saying the presence of course, all the movies are going to be there. The Batman's going to be present, it says, and that's interesting because we know, of course, that the production of the movie is currently shut down due to the pandemic. The UK at the moment is opening up again, but due to social distancing restrictions, with the 2 metre social distancing that's in play in the UK at the moment, I don't see how the Batman can film at the moment while it's a 2 metre social distancing restriction. So that movie is yet to begin production again. Maybe as the coming months go, the social distancing in the UK will ease, and it will ease enough that they can make the movie possible. But it's a Batman movie, you can't have 2 metres social distancing and have Batman in a movie, it just wouldn't work. It's going to be interesting there by the time this con starts, the end of August. I predict, of course, and we hope that Matt Reeves' movie's back under production again, because the last thing we want to see is that movie pushed again. It's already pushed October next year, which was a real bummer. We don't want to see it delayed anymore, and I don't think it will. I think things will happen in the UK that will allow Matt Reeves' Batman to begin filming again. But I wonder what we'll see. Matt Reeves has confirmed he's only shot 25% of the movie. I don't know if that would be enough to give us a trailer, but you never know. What do you think, Jake?
I don't want it to be an official trailer as much as it's like a teaser, I thought of the same thing of the Suicide Squad. Since James Gunn is working on the VFX or something like that from his home, I thought that they can give us a quick teaser, just a quick shot of specific characters and coming 2021. They can do that with both of these movies.
Yeah, I think with James Gunn's Suicide Squad, of course, that's finished, that's shot, that movie. So I could definitely see us getting, a Comic-Con 2015 look at it, a 2.5 minute official teaser, I could definitely see us getting that. Like, that movie has been shot, so it wouldn't. It's not like Matt Reeves' Batman, who's only got 25% footage there. Maybe what I think we could get would be an official first look at Catwoman, an official first look at Penguin, official first look at Riddler. We could definitely get that, I think. But I don't think we're going to get anything more than that. You know, I think maybe another couple of shots of Robert in the Batsuit. That's possible. I just don't think at this moment there'll be enough footage there to show us any more than that. Also, there's been speculation Andy Muschietti's sister, who also produces and co-writes all these movies, people were asking her, is there any news coming from Flash, the Flashpoint movie? And she tweeted back saying, very, very soon. So, of course, this is obviously a bit different to the con, but it'll be interesting to see what that news is. Will it be Esda's maybe stepping aside for the project? Is it maybe a new release date? Or is it confirmation that the film will begin shooting? It's very interesting that she would say that, you know, especially when that movie is so far away. It's not till June 1st, 2022. It's interesting to see that she said, so maybe we might see something at this con about Flash and Flashpoint.
I don't think we'll be hearing about this movie anytime this year. Maybe sometime next year, early next year, hopefully. I mean, those are just like my theory, you know. I might be turned wrong. But I think there's a lot of other stuff to be discussing at the current moment. So they're leaving like the Flash for sometime next year.
This will be discussed. I think Andy Muschietti will be present. There will be, in the 24-hour period, Andy Muschietti will be Skyping in whatever way they're going to do it. He will be spoken to, I believe, at some point during the show, because I think they've said that the Flash is going to be present. Of course, I also think that James Wan might have a bit of say involved, because he'll have to discuss, maybe we'll get to see a wee bit of concept for that Aquaman 2. So many endless possibilities, and of course, well, hopefully, and I imagine so, we're going to get a first look at Zack Snyder's Justice League movie. Which, of course, if anybody is interested in seeing what Zack's filmed, just watch Trailer 1, Trailer 2 of Justice League, because this is going to be, hopefully, what we see in this trailer is going to be a lot of the stuff that he's promised that we never got to see in the original. Hopefully we get teases.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of stuff that wasn't shown in the first teasers that we had with Snyder. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like other stuff that was not shown. So hopefully he will put them all like in a quick, small trailer and show it to the fans.
In the first two trailers is the stuff that people use as comparisons of different from Joss. Like, you see Bruce talking to Arthur in Finland, and then when you see it in the theatrical cut, you can definitely tell dialogue's been changed, so they've reshot scenes to change dialogue. You can definitely see things like that. But it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, it's good if we get a wee teaser Darkseid. It'll be interesting to see if we get a look at what Zack has promised. Zack has promised he's going to give us the new Steppenwolf. It'll be interesting to see the Unicorn Steppenwolf as well. So that'll be a lot of really interesting stuff coming out for this, and I'm really excited about this, because for so long I've always wanted DC to take the bull by the horns, give us, you know, a con like this, celebrate DC Comics, and this is finally it, you know. I feel like in Hall H, it's difficult, you know, because at DC you have their panel, and then you have Marvel, and both of them are both trying to outdo each other. Both of them, you know, DC are trying to announce Batman vs Superman, and then Marvel are trying to announce Civil War at the same time. The competition's rife. At least at this event, it's DC only, and DC can announce whatever they want to announce to the fans. Later on this week, me and Jake are both going to come back on the show, and we're going to discuss Matt Reeves' 2021 movie, The Batman. We're going to discuss the movie in a lot of depth. We're going to go through the castings, and opinions on the castings, set leaks that we've saw so far. We're going to go through it all, but that'll come probably on Friday of this week. For today, Jake, that's probably all we've got time for. Let everybody know where they can get a hold of you and where they can talk to you.
You can check me out on my YouTube channel, DC's Daily Buzz, and you can check me out on Instagram at DC Daily Buzz.
And of course, you can check us out on Instagram at Detective Comic Talks, all the one word. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, and if you're listening to us on YouTube, please remember to subscribe and like this video to make sure you don't miss out on any future content from the channel. I hope you have a great week and look after yourself. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.